Austin Theory unsuccessfully cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase last night on Raw for the United States Championship. We've got the latest on this failed cash-in attempt. Nikki Cross is the new 24/7 champion, but then throws the title in the trash. The 24/7 title apparently scrapped from WWE. Alexa Bliss is seemingly being stalked by Bray Wyatt once again last night on Raw. Mia Yim is back in WWE, uniting with the OC. The Miz is exposed by Johnny Gargano. The first War Games match has been announced for Survivor Series. The Usos square off against the New Day on Raw. We've got an update on the Raw 30th anniversary with a very, very surprising logo revealed. Got the ratings for SmackDown on Friday and the latest on Crown Jewel and the success of the Saudi event. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of WWE, especially after last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. We've got a ton of stories to get into, so let's get straight into the first being this unsuccessful Money in the Bank cash-in attempt from Austin Theory. The youngest ever holder of the Money in the Bank briefcase has failed his cash-in attempt because Austin Theory was defeated by Seth Rollins last night on Raw for the United States Championship. I'm not slipping up there. That is actually what happened. So Austin Theory cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase on last night's November 7 edition of Monday Night Raw. After an open challenge from Finn Balor fell through earlier on in the night, Seth Rollins was in the ring for another challenger in the main event. When both Mustafa Ali and Bobby Lashley battled backstage to come out to meet Rollins, it was the Almighty who came out on top. However, when Bobby Lashley laid an almighty beatdown on Seth freaking Rollins before the match could even get started, Rollins was left driven through an announce table and left vulnerable at ringside. This is when the cash-in attempt happened. Austin Theory hit an A-Town down and seemingly had the championship wrapped up until Bobby Lashley reappeared and pulled the referee out of the ring. Bear in mind, Austin Theory cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, good for a World Championship match, anytime, any place for 1 year on the United States Championship, bear in mind. This was for the US title. Theory was furious, shouting at Lashley and calling him an idiot while the referee was down. He then went on to get fully manhandled by the former WWE champion after Lashley viciously assaulted Theory with two big face-first slams into the ring post. He then put the Hurt Lock onto Theory until he was out cold. With Theory knocked out, his eyes rolled back in his head, Lashley walked away with Rollins still in the ring. It looked like Theory was about to lose via countout, but he was able to barely get back into the ring, but then was promptly met by a big stomp from Seth Rollins. Ultimately, Rollins captured the pinfall victory and retained the United States Championship. So what we saw last night was a failed cash-in attempt for the United States Championship. And as expected, this got a lot of reaction on social media, as it should. Now, this is bizarre, and you have to call a spade a spade. You have to be honest. If this was Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard's genius idea, we would be in uproar saying, what? It makes no sense. And that's what it did. It made no sense last night. I understand the predicament that Triple H and the WWE found themselves in when it comes to Austin Theory being the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, in that it wasn't their idea. This was a Vince McMahon project. Austin Theory was Vince McMahon's guy on and off screen. Clearly, they were pushing this guy to the moon. I don't know if they ever actually had plans for Theory to cash in on Roman Reigns, Vince McMahon, but still, it was their idea that we're going to push Austin Theory. He's going to be the guy in the future. He's young. He's got a great look. He's going to be a future world champion. And when Triple H takes control of the company and takes control of the creative, he's like, well, I definitely wouldn't have gone in that direction. And we've seen how Austin Theory has been booked on WWE television ever since Triple H gained control. He has lost match after match after match after match after match. And I don't like to say the term burial that often, and I don't know whether truly it was a burial last night on Raw, but it wasn't good. And this is certainly a signal that Triple H, he's not on the Theory bandwagon whatsoever. And to me, logically, it's just not there. And it's not a direction that I would have gone. For me, it makes zero sense. Austin Theory, in my opinion, I mean, WrestleVotes kind of talked about it in an interview he did with Gimme Sport the other day. He could have held the Money in the Bank briefcase until Money in the Bank next year. Who knows what the situation is going to look like? Ari Roman Reigns, the WWE Championship, the Universal Championship, come next year. They can do that then. they can figure that out, and they could even have the event where they've like, look, Theory, you've got 60 minutes to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. You've got to do something. And there could have been a match at the event where the champion at the time is in a steel cage match, and come the end of the match, they know Austin Theory is going to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And that would have been a reason for people to tune in. You're telling people he's going to cash in at some time in this pay-per-view. We just don't necessarily know when. That's a good idea. So, and that's for a world championship. Again, this is where in the contract, where in the contract does it state you can cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase for a United States championship? Where? The whole point when it's announced, it's the winner has a world championship opportunity, good for 1 year, anytime, any place. That's the whole point. So for Theory to cash in on the US Championship one, is it even valid? And that might be a way they get out of it, by the way. They might say, well, actually, you can't cash in on the US Championship. It has to be a World Championship. It has to be the WWE Universal Championship. But two, you would say it makes Austin Theory look like an idiot because you cashed in not even for a world title. And I know some people will perceive it as, well, actually, it elevates the US Championship because he considers it a World Championship. No, it felt like Triple H going, I have no intention of making Austin Theory a world champion, which is fine. I have no intention of him even cashing in on Roman Reigns or whoever the WWE champion or Universal champion is going to be at some point in the next however many months he's got left to cash it in. So let's just get rid of it. Seth Rollins is turned babyface. He was attacked by the newly healed Bobby Lashley. Seth Rollins, to make him even more of a babyface, we're going to get Austin Theory to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on him. That's what we're going to do. But as I mentioned, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for the Money in the Bank concept. It didn't make sense for Austin Theory. It makes Austin Theory look stupid and weak because he failed anyway. It's just, there were other ways for Rollins to be a babyface and for Bobby Lashley to look dominant on the show without wasting a Money in the Bank cash-in. And it feels like that, again, the Austin Theory Money in the Bank situation was just too much of a frustration for Triple H, so he just wanted to get it out of the way. But it's not good booking, and as I mentioned, if it was a previous regime, we would criticize it massively. We absolutely would criticize it massively, and you have to criticize it here. Whether you like Austin Theory or not, whether you believe he could have been a WWE or Universal Champion, this makes no sense, it's bad booking, and it's illogical. And I really, it's bizarre. Really, really bizarre. And I have no idea what's next for Austin Theory. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to NXT at this point. What's he got to do on the main roster now? Not that much. I mean, it would have been made more sense. If he'd have cashed in on the NXT Championship like they teased, that would have made sense. They could have had him beat Bron Breakker. He's beaten pretty much everyone else on the NXT roster. Have Austin Theory win the NXT Championship for a bit. A cash in on NXT, that will give ratings for that brand. That even makes more sense. And it's technically a world championship, even though it doesn't really count in the grand scheme of things. But the logic can kind of be stretched on that one. So the only thing I can think of here is that maybe they go back and say, well, actually, technically, it wasn't a WWE Universal Championship, so it's not void, so you're still the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. I don't know. But for me, didn't work. We did see a title change last night. It wasn't the US title. It was the 24/7 Championship. It's back, and then it's gone like that. Thanos snap. On last night's edition of Raw, a championship title was promptly tossed in the trash mere moments after being won. After making a big impact at the tail end of a segment announcing the women's division's match for the Survivor Series War Games, we are going to talk about that later on, Nikki Cross made a thunderous in-ring return to the championship scene. The recently returned and more rabid than ever Nikki Cross took on Dana Brooke for the 24/7 Championship. After a fairly short match, Nikki Cross beat Dana Brooke to become the new 24/7 champion. People were thinking, right, I guess the 24/7 title is back. However, after the commercial break, Nikki Cross appeared to be walking through the backstage area, flanked by her new unlikely alliance in Damage Control, in a scene that was massively botched as well, and a part of serious WWE history. Nikki Cross tossed the 24/7 title belt in the trash. I say she tossed it in the trash. She kind of didn't because she missed. And when I say she missed, the trash is here, and somehow it's like me trying to touch this microphone and going like this. Like it's that far away. You can see it on the screen. I did it then. You can see it on the screen. She's not even that far away, but she's looking up the whole time. She's looking up like this, like she's in some kind of haze or craze or in this trance, I guess. Like this, happy that she won or happy that she's being crazy Nikki Cross again. All she's got to do, and it's not looking, but all she's got to do is drop the title belt in the trash. She missed. She missed. So this big moment of WWE history that she's tossing the belt in the trash, the 24/7 title is disappearing forever, missed. But the principle is still the same. The 24/7 championship is gone. As it should be. We haven't seen it. I speak about things that Triple H didn't like or doesn't like as part of the old regime, Austin Theory being one of them, the 24/7 championship being another. We've barely seen it on WWE television since Triple H has taken control, so it shouldn't be much of a surprise that he decided to get rid of it. And as it should be, as a concept, it was, the hardcore championship when it had the 24/7 rule, was fine for a while, but eventually it's a gimmick that can only go so far, and it's a joke that's been done over and over and over and over again, and that's basically what it is. It's the same joke. You can only tell the same joke so often before it starts getting, before it's not funny, and then eventually, not only is it not funny, it's downright annoying, and that's really what it was. And it got to the point where certain people that fans liked, if they saw him in 24/7 title segments, you went, oh, you felt bad for him because that was the lowest rung on the roster, essentially. So to get rid of it is fine. It had no real value or added no value to WWE television. I still believe there could have been ways that they could have made it work. They should have put the 24/7 title on someone like Brock Lesnar. No one's going to pin him. In the same way that when The Undertaker held the Hardcore Championship in 2001, early 2002. No one's going to try and roll him up or anything like that because it's a giant man. But I'm glad it's gone. I'm glad it's over. They can all move on. It's a title that the USA Network brought in and WWE brought in for ratings. Again, I think it was a USA Network idea at a time where Raw was slipping further and further and further down the ratings, and it still kind of is, but still falling further and further, and they were just trying anything. 24/7 title. The third hour is Raw Dark, or we're going to have Raw Underground. Do you remember all these things? The electric chair, where they would just throw any weird and bizarre concept at WWE television. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's done. This is interesting because this isn't the first instance of this. After Crown Jewel at the weekend, where the Bray Wyatt's logo appeared behind Alexa Bliss, it happened again last night on Monday Night Raw. Is Bray Wyatt trying to recruit Alexa Bliss? If you blinked, you may have missed Bray Wyatt's technical appearance on last night's edition of Raw. Well, sort of. During their ring entrance, Asuka and Alexa Bliss were accompanying Bianca Belair to the ring to hug ring graphics and music. However, in a very brief second, you can see it on the screen right now, the graphic wasn't Bianca's at all and rather flashed to the inverted butterfly Wyatt image. Yes, the very same one that lurked behind Bliss at WWE's premium live event Crown Jewel on Saturday. What do you think? Is Bray Wyatt recruiting Alexa Bliss to his faction? Is he stalking her, or is it a little bit of both? Obviously, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I kind of spoke about this more in depth. I did a video right after Crown Jewel discussing this, and I think, again, this all ties together. Because it has to. There's a part of a story that still hasn't been told just yet. The last time we saw The Fiend on WWE television was the opening match of WrestleMania 37 Night 2. It was Randy Orton versus The Fiend. In that match, The Fiend had been burned and charred up. Of course, he lost the Firefly Inferno match to Randy Orton at TLC in December 2020. He had come back at Fastlane as this burnt, charred version of The Fiend. Before the match, he magically transformed into a newer version of The Fiend. And everyone assumed that The Fiend was going to beat Randy Orton. But then, of course, what happened in that match? Alexa Bliss turned on The Fiend, distracted him. Randy Orton hits the RKO. He wins the match. The Fiend then disappeared into the darkness, into the void. The following night on Raw, we had a Firefly Funhouse segment with Bray Wyatt where he said that it was going to be a new him, a different version of him, and we didn't need any woman or anything like that. Didn't need Alexa Bliss. But then, of course, what happened? We never saw Bray Wyatt again. He got released just as he was going to come back to WWE television. He got released. He got fired. Alexa Bliss kind of kept the Fiend gimmick, sort of, supernatural gimmick with Lily the doll and all that kind of supernatural stuff. Eventually, she went to therapy and became the old version of Alexa Bliss, or this version of Alexa Bliss that we see now. But what we have seen with Bray Wyatt, specifically at Crown Jewel, is Uncle Howdy basically saying you can't run away from this guy forever. You can't hide from the Fiend forever. Bray Wyatt said it in his promo. He wanted to become the greatest member of his great wrestling family. To do that, he had to become a monster. He had to put on the mask. And when he put on the mask, he felt invincible. He felt untouchable. Nobody could hurt him. And that kind of power that kind of feeling is difficult to quit. Some people say you can't quit. Bray Wyatt's tried to quit it, and he's taken the mask off, he's ripped it off and become the most pure version of himself that he can. But Uncle Howdy is saying to him, you can't run away from that feeling forever. You're addicted to it. Put the mask back on and it will feel better than ever. And when you put that mask back on, maybe, just maybe, you'll never take it off again. And what we're basically seeing here is, I guess, the Fiend, or whatever new version of Bray Wyatt we're seeing, telling Alexa Bliss, he hasn't forgotten. You turned on him and you drove him away from WWE. He is still watching you and he will find you. And it's part of a subtle story being told here. And it's very interesting to see, certainly. Mia Yim is back in WWE. We're seeing another former WWE star returning. And of course, it's been widely reported that WWE did have interest in the former WWE, NXT, and I guess SmackDown and Raw superstar. And Triple H has done it again. After the Judgment Day answered Seth Rollins' United States Championship Open Challenge and revealed that Finn Balor was intended to be the opponent, their fight was rudely interrupted. The OC appeared and AJ Styles informed Judgment Day that they hadn't ever been fighting a fair fight. Referencing Rhea Ripley's continual interferences, AJ Styles then informed the group that they couldn't find an equalizer, but one had found them. It was then that a mystery figure appeared and attacked Rhea Ripley and revealed themselves to be a returning Mia Yim. Mia Yim, once again with her signature blue hair and name, is back and ready to dominate in the OC. So Mia Yim is now part of the OC faction. Mia Yim is now going to be, I guess, as part of this faction going forward with the OC. And as you can see on the screen, attacked Rhea Ripley with her kendo stick and posed with the group to end the segment. As I said, it had been widely reported that Mia Yim was going to be returning to WWE. I believe it was Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select that reported this a couple of days ago. She's a good fit. She's a good fit with the OC. And I guess we're now building to probably an 8-person tag team match. I did think we were going to maybe have Beth Phoenix in this role, but I guess it makes sense for Mia Yim to be part of that faction moving forward. I don't know if it's just going to be as part of this Judgment Day versus the OC thing, and then once this feud is done, Mia Yim's still going to be part of the OC. I'm not sure, but it's great to see Mia Yim back again. She never got a chance at all on the main roster. She was part of the Retribution, horrible Retribution angle. She was reckoning, and then once the group split up, she was on the main roster for ages, and then she just never basically appeared. She maybe did a couple of main events, that was about it, before ultimately being fired. So it was really unfortunate for her, but great to see her back. And obviously, as I mentioned, we're going to get that 8-person tag team match coming up in the future, certainly. The Miz continues to be exposed in this bizarre Johnny Gargano-Dexter Lumis storyline. The Miz, already in the ring on Raw last night, he was interrupted as he began to address the crowd on Raw, being interrupted by his recent foe, Johnny Gargano. Gargano reported that he had more concrete evidence against The Miz, revealing that not only had The Miz spoken to a Hollywood agent and he was being filmed. During the piece, which Gargano debuted on the Tron, with the report that he found a universal remote at home that operated it, the Miz's truth was revealed. In the footage, The Miz admitted that he was paying Dexter Lumis to attack him for attention, and I guess kind of confirming what Gargano had been saying last week on Raw. As I mentioned, this storyline, I respect WWE and Triple H trying to put logic into it. For weeks, we didn't understand why Dexter Lumis was attacking The Miz, but this is getting goofy. And whoever's been writing Johnny Gargano on Raw recently has been getting goofy. I appreciate them trying to tell the story, but the story's not great, to be honest with you. But it's going to end with Dexter Lumis, I guess, getting signed to WWE, beating The Miz in the match, seemingly. But for me, it's not good. The first War Games match has been announced for Survivor Series, the violent feud continuing from Crown Jewel to Raw. One champion has declared that the battle will be settled at War Games. A segment on last night's Raw revealed that one of the planned War Games matches with an ongoing feud set to face the final war at the Premium Live event. It was a segment in which Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss and Asuka called out Damage Control for their shaded behavior at Crown Jewel and beyond. With the trio of faces tangling once again with Damage Control, it proved to be another case of Nikki Cross serving as an equalizer. Nikki Cross popped into the fray near the end of the segment and caused a mass havoc, ending her reign of terror with a brutal neck breaker on Alexa Bliss. With the segment ended on Bayley shouting, "See you at War Games, Bianca," and pointing to Nikki Cross, who might team with the babyfaces. So it has since been confirmed that yes, the female War Games match will be Damage Control and a mystery tag team partner versus Bianca Belair, Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Logically, it would make sense that those two faces would be Sasha Banks and Naomi. Of course, War Games, Survivor Series War Games is in Boston, Massachusetts, the hometown of Sasha Banks. There's two faces there, so it makes sense that it would be Sasha Banks and Naomi. Unless, of course, Sasha Banks returns as a heel and partners up with her old foe, friend, partner, Bayley. Real life, they're best friends. Of course, last time on WWE television, they were rivals, but certainly anything's possible when it comes to a return. I would suspect, though, that we see Banks and Naomi return. As far as the heel, your guess is good as mine. Let me know in the comment section below. Last night on Raw, we saw the Usos and the New Day face off prior to their SmackDown title match this coming Friday. Of course, this Friday, we will see the Undisputed Tag Team Championships be on the line as the Usos face off against the New Day. The Usos, if they win, will become the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions in history. I expect the Usos to win. I expect it to be the main event. I expect it to be a fantastic match. They were clearly building towards that, trying to build it up as a huge match, which I guess it kind of is. It's history-making match, history-making moment, certainly. But I expect the Usos to win that one. Raw's 30th anniversary is coming up very, very soon, and we have more details about it because we have now had an announcement of when WWE is going to hold it, where they're going to hold it, when tickets are going to go on sale, etc., etc. According to WWE, the 30th anniversary special will take place on Monday, January 23, 2023 at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. This will also mark the go-home show for Monday Night Raw before the Royal Rumble in 2023, which will be held at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 28, 2023. It's also been quite newsworthy because it's released quite a funny logo for this Raw 30th anniversary. Of course, it's a take on the Raw is War logo, but it says Raw is XXX. Now, I wouldn't recommend typing that into your Google search engine or your Twitter search engine because you might not see stuff that is totally related to WWE or Monday Night Raw. And I know the WWE must be aware of that. They must be aware. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with that. It's the 30th anniversary plus bit of an edgy logo. They know what gets ratings. Speaking of ratings, we've got the ratings for SmackDown on Friday, the go-home edition to Crown Jewel. Of course, this was taped, but it was back on Fox. So because of that, the ratings were pretty good. According to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, SmackDown achieved an overall rating of 2.138 million viewers and a 0.48 in the key 18 to 49 demographic. The episode was also number 3 in the key demographic among broadcast primetime and cable originals. Of course, that's considerably up from last week's 835,000 viewers and a 0.23 rating in the key demographic, but of course that was on FS1, not Fox. It was the go-home show to Crown Jewel rather, and was pre-taped. So for a pre-taped show to do close to 2.2 million viewers, over 2 million viewers, shall we say. WWE will be very happy with that, certainly. Speaking of Crown Jewel, some huge news coming out of Crown Jewel, and that it's very impressive. It's the most, get this, the most viewed foreign or overseas premium live event in WWE history. In order, the WWE Saudi Arabia shows with the highest global audiences are now Crown Jewel 2022, The Greatest Royal Rumble 2018, Elimination Chamber 2022, Crown Jewel 2021, and Super Showdown 2019. It also beat out, as I mentioned, Clash at the Castle to become the most viewed international premium live event in WWE history. The fact that they can get those numbers and those amount of viewers with a show not being in prime time is a massive get and a massive win for WWE, and hopefully this will lead to more, certainly this will lead to more overseas shows in the future. Finally, as well, when it comes to the return to Saudi Arabia, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful has tweeted that the working plan is for WWE to head back to Saudi Arabia in May of 2023. Fightful Select has been told. So no more February shows. It's going to be after WrestleMania, which was the case initially in the first couple of years of this working relationship between WWE and the Saudi government. So there you go, they'll be back in May. So there you go, guys, that's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button, be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on today's WWE news stories in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.